there. Welcome back to my channel. I hope that you are doing well. And of course, I hope this video finds you doing well. So look at here. We are finally going to bite the bullet and we're going to jump right on in. Now, as you may know, if you've been here for a while, one of the areas that I have not really touched upon so much is the Kenya Moore saga and the Bravo sphere of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, I have mentioned that I have my thoughts, and I definitely wanted to discuss the things that was going on with the whole scandal situation that took place that pretty much precipitated in Kenya's suspension, or at least removal for this season, upcoming season that is, for the show. And so, yeah, I just kept piling on the stories and connecting the elements that were attached to it. This includes, speaking on people's reactions, and more in particular, the cast members, former and maybe even current, and getting their feel of what they thought about the situation at hand. Now, as many of you, if you are watching Bravo anything, you may already be a fan of the RHOA, franchise, and definitely could be a fan of Kenya's, right? Or at least know enough about what's going on, right? Even if you haven't been keeping up in the last couple seasons or so. Well, as we have seen that apparently Miss Kenya Moore made a visit and did an interview with Tamara Hall on her daytime talk show, and looks like she has probably shared some confessions in regards to the situation at hand. So I said, that's it. It's time for me to go ahead and pull it out and let's talk about it because, hey, it's just so much going on. There was so much back and forth over the summer in regards to the situation. And you know how it is, one day it's like this, another day it's like that, quite a bit of another story that we're fully aware of. And so, it was just kind of nice to say, you know what, let's go ahead and stop here now. Let's kind of put everything together. So far, things that have interested me and hopefully, will interest you. And let's talk about it. Let's conversate about it. So this video is going to be a little bit meaty, I think, because there's so many areas that we're going to be touching base on with this particular video. So I definitely would say that, I want you to relax. I want you to kind of put yourself in the Zen mode, if you will, and just, hey, be ready to share your thoughts respectfully in the comment section, because I'd love to communicate with you guys about these things and what's going on in this crazy world. And if nothing else, sometimes we need a little bit of a respite or an escape from the real crazy of the world. So hopefully you will enjoy this video and definitely leave your thoughts about what you're thinking as we go through each one of the sharings for this video. So if you need to go ahead and pause this video and grab yourself something of a drink of whatever you like or a little snack or so, go ahead and do so, and then come back, unpause it, and let's get going, right? All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the first part of this sharing. And let's see who we're up on the first. So we are getting with, apparently, according to people.com, that Kenya Moore speaks out after Real Housewives of Atlanta exit. And she says, I will continue to thrive in a non-toxic environment. Now, mind you, these sharings are going to be a collective element of what we had going on since the summertime. So for those of you who may not be fully aware of all that was going on, this will be an opportunity for you to kind of get a catch up, a refresher, a revise, or just being, really shared information to know what is going on in the first place. And for those of you who already know what's happening, this will be kind of a refresher on some points as well. There may be some, I would say repeated themes, obviously, in some of these sharings, but there's always a little extra tidbit that's added to the fray. So we will be getting through all of that. So yeah, just sit back, let's go. So how this started, because we're going from the rooter to the tutor, is basically the actual exit heard all around the world, at least in the Bravo sphere anyways. Now, as one would say, you can try to destroy a legacy, but you will never destroy a queen, the reality star said. Now, life is twirling on for Kenya Moore after her exit from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, apparently on Wednesday of June 26th, the former Miss USA winner and actress had shared a series of photos of her 5-year-old daughter, Brooklyn, as the two soaked up the sun, sand, and clear blue waters of Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. Now, in the caption to her post, Moore 53 had addressed her departure from season 16 of the Bravo reality series, thanking her fans for all the support they have shown her. Now, she shared that her heart was full, and she says that, my conscience is clear. My life is blessed. My daughter and I will continue to thrive in a non-toxic environment where we feel appreciated and, most importantly, protected. Thank you, God, for covering us, she added with the prayer hand emoji. And writing in her Instagram story, she shared, "You can try to destroy a legacy, but you will never destroy a queen." Now, people had confirmed that Moore wouldn't be returning to RHOA on Tuesday, June 25th. So this is what was going on at that time. The same day her cast members were told the news. Says that it was a decision that came after Moore, the franchise's longest running peach holder, was temporarily suspended from filming after allegedly unveiling explicit pictures of a new cast member, Brittany Eadie, while the cameras were rolling during a group event on Thursday, June 6th. Now, a source told People at the time Moore was retaliating against Eadie, sharing the photos after the podcast host allegedly threatened her co-star while using the word, well, we'll just spell that out, G-U-N. Now, of course, as you know, we want to kind of keep things YouTube friendly, so I may have to change some words as we go through these sharings. Now, but a second source had close to the production disputed the fact, saying at no time was Kenya ever threatened with a GUN, nor was there ever a GUN present during the course of production. Now, Moore has continued to maintain her innocence on social media. A lot of you may have seen that. And the rumors and narrative about me randomly showing nudes or revenge, PORN, is 1,000% untrue, she wrote in her Instagram post on Wednesday. Now, she shared this on June 26th by saying, "I have proof and will share soon." Now, Kenya was concerned for her safety. That is the truth, a source told People on Tuesday, June 25th. Never for 1 second did Kenya feel like she was being taken seriously for her fears. It's unfair. Now, in the meantime, it appears Moore has support of many members of the Bravo community, including her RHOA co-star Portia Williams. "A beautiful vacation with your princess is exactly what's needed," Williams 43 had commented on Moore's post this summer. Now, the most important thing in life is your precious daughter, added Real Housewives of New Jersey star Teresa Caducci, who starred alongside Moore in the first Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip outing. And of course, the Real Housewives of Atlanta can be continually streamed on the Peacock. So this is what was going on in the beginning of this whole fiasco, right? As the time frame continued, they were definitely filming, and this situation took place. And so in June timeframe, everybody was raw, sis kumbah, following behind and supporting Kenya. So we're going to see what the next sharing has to pull for us, because this is getting a bit juicy, I think. Huh? Now, according to Blavity, everything we know so far about the Kenya Moore's exit from RHOA. And so we're not quite ready to look at Miss Portia yet. Phaedra. So let's go ahead and get back into what this has to say. Now, basically, it was sharing that it was official that Kenya Moore wasn't returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Basically, Blavity had shared that the former beauty queen has been a staple on the show since season 5, taking just a 1-season hiatus in season 11 before returning in season 12. Now, midway through the current season 16 production, Moore was suspended indefinitely as Bravo had launched an investigation after it was alleged that the long-term peach holder displayed controversial images of cast newcomer Brittany Eadie to attendees for her hair salon launch. She's denied such, while Eadie has posted messages on social media about the revenge PORN. Now, Moore has repeatedly been upset about storyline leaks. While the exact reason for her beef with Eadie is unknown, an audio of her calling Eadie an escort during an argument between the two women surfaced online. Now, both Deadline and ET Online have put out reports detailing what they are hearing about Moore's exit and how everything went down. Now, 2 weeks into the suspension, news broke that Moore's peach was in jeopardy. She reportedly had retaliated against Eadie after she was allegedly threatened by mention of a GUN, which Eadie denied. Now, still, sources say that claim no such threat was made. Now, on June 25th, News had broke that Moore was not returning, and it was a mutual decision between her and the network. She said to be upset with the manner in which the ordeal had been handled. Initially, TMZ had claimed the network is open to having her return in the future, but not for the forthcoming season. It's unclear how she'll be edited and if she'll be featured in season 16 at all, as production can always edit her out. However, both Deadline and ET Online have reported that Moore's potential return isn't being discussed at all. Now, Moore has released a statement about her exit on Instagram. She was sharing images of her with her daughter on a tropical vacation, which we did speak of in our last sharing, where she said that, look, she needed to focus more on peace and was denying the revenge PORN. She had also said that she was considering a lawsuit. Now, here was her full statement at the time. She says, "Thank you for all the support. Hashtag Team Twirl. My heart is full and my conscience is clear. So many false claims hiding behind anonymous sources. All this conversation and no facts being reported. Now, if a claim or source was valid, would they need to hide? My life is blessed. My daughter and I will continue to thrive in a non-toxic environment where we feel appreciated and, most importantly, protected. Thank you, God, for covering us. The rumors and narrative about me randomly showing news or revenge P is 1000% untrue." She says, "I have proof," again, and that she would share it soon. So, of course, everybody's on bated breath. And if they are at all interested in what's going on, they're definitely waiting to see what kind of proof is going to unveil as time would go on. So let's now move on to our next sharing, which we are now talking about Miss Phaedra Parks. All right, and there she is. So what was Miss Phaedra having to say? Now, according to In Touch, it shares that Phaedra Parks negotiating RHOA return after Kenya Moore's indefinite suspension. So naturally, with all of this turmoil and upheaval happening in RHOA, we were looking at an opportunity for maybe someone else to come back into the fold, and it looked like Phaedra was going to fit that bill. Now, we all know that Phaedra also is sharing her time on the platform of Married to Medicine, which, by the way, should be coming on pretty soon. I want to say maybe this week, possibly. I'll have to check, and if so, I'll go ahead and share something about that as well in a future video. But yeah, that show is actually coming back. They're already showing the trailers for the actual season to come, and it looks like it's going to be pretty good at this point, so we're going to be tuning in. But let's get back to Phaedra and her connection with the RHOA and the possible return for her. Now, Phaedra Parks was said to be in talks to return as a main cast member of Real Housewives of Atlanta several years after she had last held a peach. In Touch has confirmed. Now, according to report, producers behind the Bravo reality show are working hard to lock down Phaedra 50. The cast has been filming her for weeks, but producers feel the need to add a cast member after Kenya Moore was suspended and stopped filming for the show. Now, insiders had told Love B. Scott, who broke the story, that Phaedra's contract with Bravo's show Married to Medicine has caused hiccups, but that they are being ironed out. Now, Phaedra Parks is in talks to return as a main cast member of Real Housewives of Atlanta several years again after she had last held that peach. Now, according to the report, producers behind the Bravo reality show are working hard to lock her down. The cast has been filming for weeks, but producers felt the need to actually add a new person in. So we kind of covered that. Now, Phaedra was a main cast member on RHOA from season 3 to season 9. At the time, TMZ had reported Phaedra had been fired for spreading vicious rumors about her co-star Kandi and her husband Todd Tucker. Phaedra has left all the negative drama in the past and has won over fans after a role on Peacock's competition reality show, The Traitors. Now, on top of Phaedra's potential return, the outlet apparently reported that former cast member Cynthia Bailey has been filming more scenes with the cast as well. Now, producers initially brought back Cynthia 57 as a friend of the cast, but her role could increase to a main cast member by the end of filming, according to Love B. Scott, which I think would be lovely. It's almost like bringing the band back together again, right? Now, Cynthia was a main cast member from seasons 3 to season 13. She starred as a guest of the cast in season 15. Now, as In Touch previously reported, the producer's decision to potentially bring Phaedra back comes after Kenya 53 was indefinitely suspended. Now, Kenya was accused of showing explicit images of her co-star Brittany Eady at an event for her hair care line. Page Six apparently reported the producers were upset with Kenya's decision to do so, naturally. Now, sources close to Kenya had told TMZ she was unhappy with the treatment she received and was weighing legal actions against the show. Now, after the alleged suspension, Kenya told her fans, "Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. The truth always comes to light." Now, she had also added that she would never engage in revenge P, and she also shared that "I have never distributed private images or footage of anyone nor solicited images owned by others to use to threaten or blackmail. I have always been vindicated, and I can't talk about story even with the people planting fake news, hashtag Sweet 16, which I'm sure that's a reference to the upcoming season 16 for RHOA. Now, Brittany had wrote on her social media, "It's never a good feeling being targeted or hazed by someone I thought would embrace me into a new circle that I had never met." A couple of days later, Kenya had wrote on her Instagram story, "You can try to destroy a legacy, but what? Say it with me now. You can never destroy a queen." Now, thank you for all the support. She basically shared, and we've already seen that. She's appreciative of all that. She's basically again saying, none of this is true. I've got proof. We'll see all that forthcoming. Now, she also, of course, in the sharing, it's just reiterating the fact that she wanted to thrive in a non-toxic environment and definitely wanted to make sure that she was in a place where she felt appreciated and protected. And so she, again, just shares that sentiment, which is followed on in this sharing. So yeah, it looks like we are now at the positioning where not only as Kenya at the time denied what was going on, she said she had proof, she said she was ready to move on. The suspension was put in place as an indefinite status. And then, of course, RHOA needed to start scrambling to see who they could fit back into the mold, because so many ladies have been shifted out, right? And so we have a lot of new people on the show, but let's face it, RHOA has been running for a long time, and not many people are going to embrace a whole bunch of new people with no real attachment or ties to it, especially when some of the ones that have left were some of our favorites. So that was going to be a tricky situation. So bringing Phaedra back into the fold was always something that I know personally, as a fan of RHOA, has heard many people were interested in seeing at some point in some capacity. Of course, we know that the issue between her and Kandi, who was a friend at one point to her, is what really kind of just exploded everything in a way that it made it to where Phaedra was kind of basically locked out of being back on RHOA. And, for whatever reason or however you feel about the situation, one thing seemed to be really clear is that people really wanted Phaedra back. And now that Kandi's no longer on the show herself and doesn't look to have any real interest in ever coming back again, we'll see how things unfold as time goes on. It seems like a perfect time, if Phaedra's interested in picking back up that peach and holding on that mantle, that she can go ahead and do just that and probably shine, I would say, pretty brightly on the franchise for this upcoming season, and so forth and so on. So yeah, that's what's going on so far with that, right? So let's keep on moseying down through the timeline of everything else that was going on. Now, we are next then pop into some thoughts and feelings of the one and only Miss Nene Leakes, who is, for all intents and purposes, to a lot of people, really the queen of RHOA, even though she hasn't been on there for quite some time. So let's see what her thoughts were. And I'm pretty sure some of them were nothing nice. If nothing else, she can be really brutal with her commentary, right? So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, apparently, according to E! Online, RHOA alum Nene Leakes had addressed Kenya Moore's controversial exit as well. Now, Real Housewives of Atlanta alum Nene Leakes broke her silence on her former co-star Kenya Moore exiting the show amid a season 16 scandal. Now, Nene Leakes definitely was weighing in on the Real Housewives of Atlanta's latest cast shakeup. 2 weeks after Kenya Moore had left the reality series following an alleged scandal involving season 16 co-star Brittany Edie, Leakes revealed what she really thinks of the controversial exit. Now, she says, "I don't know if I was surprised." Nene, who left the show in 2020, exclusively told E! News, "I know that over the years, Kenya has always pushed the envelope a little bit. Listen, those girls do a lot of things." The outrageous love with Nene Leakes, host added, of the many cast feuds over the years. "I don't think I'm surprised at all." Now, Bravo has yet to confirm the reason for the suspension, but at this point, we now obviously know what was going on, the reasons why it happened, right? Now, though Nene is no longer a mainstay on the series, she remains close with Kenya, as well as current RHOA stars Drew Sidora and Portia Williams. Well, now that's interesting because, they were always frenemies. So the fact that they stay close in contact is a pretty good indication of where she kind of lies on this, and maybe why she didn't go as hard as I thought she would. Now, basically, she also, in addition to Drew Sidora and Portia, other fellow alums she does apparently stay in contact with is Phaedra Parks, Sheree Whitfield, and Marlo Hampton, despite their past drama. So that's an interesting take as well. So she says, we're not talking every day, Nene told E, but when we see each other, there's no beef. There's no hard feelings. Actually, we laugh about it. Right, because it was just a TV show. And now that Portia has returned for season 16, Nene thinks it's time for Phaedra to make a comeback too. Now that's an interesting twist. I would just say bring everybody back and let's just have a whole huge family reunion for the show. Now, Housewives is where the viewers know her from, and to me, if she was going to be on a platform, it should be on the Housewives platform, not Married to Medicine, she explained. I think Phaedra would be a good addition again. In the meantime, RHOA fans can catch Nene on her new Lifetime show Outrageous, and this is what she was actually doing on the Lifetime network. I mentioned it at the time. It was this summer. I'm not quite sure if it's still going on into the season now, if it's on hiatus or not, but it looks like it was a pretty good show. And it at that time was airing every Monday at 10 p.m. And that was her words. So I found that to be interesting that it wasn't as biting as I expected, especially coming from Nene, because Nene does not mince words ever. So let's go ahead and move right on along to the next lady here. And we all remember this one, Miss Don't Be Tardy for the Party herself. So let's get into the situation that is Miss Kim Zolciak and her thoughts and feelings. Now, I'm going to just kind of go on the limb and say that she's probably not going to be that empathetic to the cause. But let's go ahead and get into it. Now, according to page 6, Kim Zolciak celebrates Kenya Moore's RHOA firing. Best thing that could have ever happened to that show. Woo! Kim did not hold no punches. Now, Kim Zolciak is saying bravo to Bravo for firing Kenya Moore from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Are we surprised? I don't think we're surprised. Now, Zolciak, who once starred on the hit series with Moore, tells Page 6's Virtual Reality that she supports the network's decision to give the former Miss USA the pink slip following the latter's SEX poster scandal. I think it's the best thing that could ever happen to that show, she asserts during a virtual press junket for MTV's Surreal Life Villa of Secrets, her latest unscripted venture. Have you watched? Did you watch? Is it even still on? I'm not really sure, but let me know if you did. Drop that down in the comment section below. Now, Zolciak, who feuded with Moore during their RHOA overlap in season 5, says her on-screen adversary is heavily flawed and therefore unsuitable for such a show. Wow, those are fighting words if I say so myself. You meet people and you have relationships with people and you get angry or you get frustrated. But when you're just, I think the core of who you are or your character is heavily flawed, I think that's a great decision to be on, as she explains. At Page 6 exclusively reported, Moore 3 shocked party attendees at her salon grand opening in June with posters of Atlanta rookie Brittany Edie allegedly performing a particular SEX act. Now, cameras were rolling at the cast event where Moore unveiled the X-rated photos, and Edie 36 was not present for the display. That takes on a whole new meaning of when, from the point where Kenya interrupted Marlo's hairline situation with that, was it hair care, more care, Kenya's more care, that whole thing with the marching band and everything. This takes it to a whole nother level. Now, an insider apparently insisted to us at the time that the pics in question were readily accessible online and went on to claim that Edie had made threats to Moore using the word GUN before the event. Now, however, a production source told us at no time was Kenya ever threatened with a GUN, nor was there ever a GUN present during the course of production. Now, Page 6 exclusively revealed Moore was subsequently suspended from filming, and then we later confirmed she would not be coming back for the remainder of the season 16, which remains in production. So it'll be interesting to see when they get a chance to get this out and running, and if they will at all. That was also a question as well. Now, with Moore out, Page Six recently reported that RHOA alum Phaedra Parks is negotiating her return amid a retooling that features veteran stars and fresh faces. Now, Zolciak, who last appeared on the series as a guest in season 15, believes that Parks 50 would be a good addition to the current cast. I love Phaedra. That would be great. She's so funny. She raves to us. I love her. However, the tardy for the party singer, whose RHOA tenure as a full-time cast member ended in 2013 after 5 consecutive seasons, emphasizes that she will never reclaim her peach. I literally will never go back to Housewives of Atlanta. Like literally, when I think about it, I had so much fun, but also in Connecticut where I grew up, if you don't like somebody, it's like, we don't like you. I don't like you. I'm not going to talk to you, she says. Now down here, what I've learned and what I have learned and have learned the hard way was we go to lunch and have this great conversation, and then you go to do an interview, and then you talk all this crap about me. Zolciak 46 elaborates. Now, the mother of 6, who is in the midst of navigating a tumultuous divorce from her estranged husband, Corey Bierman, remembers being so upset by the contentious nature of Housewives during the early days of her on-camera career. She says, I was so upset with the first couple of seasons. Like, what? We just had lunch. And then I'm in like my interview and oh my gosh, she's so great, blah, 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 she shares. Really, I mean, when I say I have PTSD from things, I really do. So Real Life Villa of Secrets starring Zolciak, Chet Hanks, Ally Brooke, Macy Gray, Johnny Weirka, here comes the plug, OT Genesis, Tyler Posey, and Josie Canseco premiered at the end of July. And if you did get a chance to check that out and you found that to be interesting, I kind of feel like that was a reboot type of show. Let me know down below. All right, so we see that Kim Zolciak, well, there's no love lost there, and definitely no shedding of the tears for the exit, in which she thinks was a great decision to be made by Bravo. So let's go ahead and move on to the next individual, and let's see who that is going to actually be. Oh, well, looks like we got a little bit of a trio going on here. So let's see what we're talking about here, because we are talking all things RHOA. So yeah, here we go. We are going to be navigating the fact that, well, there's some issues in regards to some of the new cast members. So let's go ahead and get into this. And this is by an interest of one cast member. Now, according to Just Jared, Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16 cast revealed 3 former stars that rejoined and 4 housewives return, 1 star exits mid-filming, and 3 ladies joined the cast. Let's go ahead and just go down the list here. So as we all know, again, Kenya Moore is no longer returning. Now, Kenya Moore had confirmed in April of 2024 that she will be back for the next season. We'll see how that all plays out, right? She says, I may be gone with the wind fabulous, but I'm not going anywhere. Sweet 16, RHOA, Kenya Moore. She hashtags a bunch of things and says this all was captioned in her Instagram. So apparently she feels at some point she will be making her return. We'll see how that all plays out. Now, Kenya had joined the show in season 5 and starred until season 10. She was a guest for season 11 and returned as a full-time cast member for the next 4 seasons. We'll have to wait to see if she will be returning. Now, of course, on June 14th, just a brief recap, it was reported that Kenya was suspended from filming indefinitely, which we've been talking about that mostly here. Says that while Bravo reveals an alleged incident with another cast member that happened while filming. Now, as of June 25th, another recap here was Kenya will now be not returning to filming for the remainder of the season following her suspension, because remember, it's indefinite. Now, find out what Kenya has to say about the rumors surrounding her exit event that caused her to leave the show. Well, we kind of already touched base on that, and I think we're going to get a little bit more as we move on into the video. Now, according to Phaedra Parks, basically, she is going to be returning mid-season, and Phaedra Parks has stepped up to take the place left open by Kenya Moore's exit, which we kind of went over that as well. She says, you called, I answered. Hashtag RHOA, hashtag season 16. She announced on her Instagram in late July. So this is like she's really and ready to go. Previously, Phaedra was the main cast member from season 3 to 9. And so there we have it. She's one of the veterans. We love her. She was great before, and I think she'll be great again. Now we're moving on to Portia Williams. She has confirmed, and I'm sure you probably heard a lot about that going on as well, especially between her and her, current divorce proceedings with her husband, Simon Gabodia. Basically, she had confirmed she would return for season 16, and she also signed an overall deal with NBC Universal. So that means that there might be some other type of show she'll pop up doing. We'll have to see. Now, she had joined the cast in season 5 for 2 seasons, went down to a friend of one in season 7, then before returning as a full-time cast member in season 8 through 13. She then left the show once again for 2 seasons before making her return for the upcoming 16th season. Now, if you missed it, it was recently revealed that Portia filed for divorce from husband Simon Gabodia just after 15 months of marriage. So, lots going on there, right? Lots going on. So, moving on to, let's see, I want to make sure that we're getting all the ladies in here that we'll be talking about. So, now, according to Drew Sidora, she's apparently returning. Now, Drew Sidora was rumored to be returning, and now she has been confirmed. Now, Drew joined the show as a main cast member in season 13. Cynthia Bailey is also returning. Cynthia is making her RHOA comeback, apparently. Now, she joined the show as a main cast member from seasons 3 to 13 before leaving for 1 season. Now, Cynthia then returned as a guest in season 15 and will return as a friend in the upcoming 16th season. Now, Shamea Morton, she was promoted because remember she was a friend for quite some time. Now, Shamea Morton was rumored to return for the upcoming 16th season, and now she has been confirmed, but this time as a full-time housewife. She has appeared on the show across several seasons. Now, Shamea first joined as a guest in seasons 5 through 7, then was a friend in season 8, followed by a return as a guest for seasons 9 through 13 and season 15. And we also know Shamea was really good friends with Portia, and I believe she also was really good friends with Kandi and maybe a couple of the other ladies as well. So she was really well known in their circle. So that really worked out really nice for her to be able to kind of resume that role for herself. So then we are moving on to Kandi Burruss, and we all know that she famously has left the franchise as well. Now, it says that Kandi Burruss has announced that she is leaving, and she already has been moving on, doing other projects, the show for the new season. I feel like she's going to be gone probably forever. Now, the singer had joined the cast in season 2 and has remained on a main cast member ever since until now. Now, while she's not returning for season 16, as Sheree focuses on other projects, she hasn't ruled out over returning to the show in the future. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll see. Now, Marlo Hampton, well, she's not returning for season 16. She says, my contract with Real Housewives of Atlanta ended when season 15 wrapped, Marlo shared with People. This break from RHOA is a fresh start, allowing me the space to participate in new creative entertainment projects, focused on my future and not reliving my past. Marlo joined the cast in season 4 as a friend and returned as a guest in season 6, 8, and 9. She was a friend for seasons 10 through 13 before joining as a main cast member for seasons 14 and 15. And then, of course, we have Miss Sanya Richards-Ross. She apparently is left as well. Basically, it was confirmed at her exit for the series after only 2 seasons, following rumors that she wasn't going to return. Executive producer Andy Cohen had confirmed she wouldn't be back on the March 14th episode of his Sirius XM radio show, Andy Cohen Live. Now, Sanya joined the show as a main cast member for seasons 14 and 15, and in December of 2023, Sanya had gave birth to her second child with husband Aaron Ross. And again, congratulations. She's a beautiful baby boy. The whole family is absolutely gorgeous. She does a lot of Instagram stories and all that good stuff. She's out there quite a bit, maybe on TikTok as well, but I definitely see a lot on Instagram. Just a beautiful family altogether. Looks like she's doing a lot of great things. And also, too, something that wasn't quite mentioned, but may be mentioned in a future sharing, as we talk in this video. But in case if not, apparently it looks like, I believe that Sanya and Marlo are kind of coming together to do a podcast. So that will be interesting. And myself being a fellow podcaster, I love a good podcast. I love a good conversation on those airways. So I think that this will be a really great opportunity to see what they bring to the table for that. So I don't think that we've seen the last or heard the last of those 2 ladies. So let's go ahead and keep moving on. Now, apparently, we are going to be moving on to a couple of other ladies here that are very familiar to us. And that would be starting off with Miss Sheree, really, Whitfield herself. Now, we all know that she left or was left. I wonder if she's going to come back, though. Now, Sheree Whitfield's return status is up in the air, and she was rumored to be returning as a friend of. However, she was left off the cast list that was announced. Now, she's an original cast member for the first 4 seasons. She then returned as a friend of in season 8 before returning full-time for seasons 9 and 10. She then left again and returned as a guest in season 13, followed by a full-time return the next 2 seasons. Now, Courtney Rhodes, not returning, and I'm not upset about that. Now, Courtney Rhodes was a friend of in season 15, but it looks like she won't be returning as she was not on the announced cast list. And quite frankly, I believe when she connected to Ralph, which was Drew Sidor's soon-to-be ex-husband, so there really isn't much point really to see that. I hope we don't see any much of Ralph either if Drew is still going to be on the show, because that was just a disastrous situation to say the least. Next up, we have Monietta Shaw, which we love her, possibly returning. She was really one of those kind of reasoned type of individual. So I enjoyed her. She's very light and just, just fun, and not so embroiled with drama and all this other nonsense. So Monietta Shaw was a friend for the past 2 seasons. Now, while she has not been included on any official cast list, Monietta is rumored to be returning as a guest in the new season, which I do hope so, because again, she really is a great round-up individual, and in the fact that she gives balance to the show. She's a lot like Cynthia, and to where I really wouldn't mind her being a full-time cast member. So I don't know why we're not moving with that, but maybe we'll find out some point. Maybe it's not something she really wants to do. So, I guess we'll just have to find out as time goes on. But I do love to see her. She does bring a bit of a breath of fresh air. So now we're going to be getting into some of the new ladies that not many of us know about. I myself are not really familiar with any of them, so this will be new for me as well. Now, according to this sharing, Angela Oakley is apparently joining. Now, Angela Reed, which is also, I guess, her maiden name, was rumored to join the cast in season 16, and she has been confirmed. It is unknown if she will hold a peach or will be a friend of. And apparently she is married to former NBA player Chris Oakley. So then we next have Brittany Eady, which is the other individual embroiled in the scandal with Kenya Moore. Apparently she is joining. So Brittany Eady is an insurance expert and was rumored to join the cast in season 16, and she has been confirmed. It is unknown if she will hold a peach or will be a friend of. Now, it would be quite interesting that if Kenya put herself through all of this for someone who was just simply a friend of. All right, so let's moving on. Kelly Farrell joining. Looks like Kelly, I think it's Kelly, who is a cookbook author and restaurant owner, has joined the cast of the show. And it is unknown if she will hold a peach or will be a friend of. And I wonder if the concept is they want to see how the audience really, kind of takes to them, to see if this is, a person that people would continue to want to watch and not necessarily rage watch, but really actually enjoy watching. So I guess we'll have to see. Now, the next individual here, which this would be really nice if this actually turned into something, but I guess we'll have to see. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So apparently Nene Leakes was rumored to return. So we'll see if that continues on or not. Now, Nene Leakes was rumored to potentially return for season 16. However, TMZ had reported mid-February that she is not returning. So they reported that she is not in talks and producers have not reached out to her. When the cast was announced, she was not included, confirming she's not coming back. Boo-hoo, because I really would have loved to have seen her come back. Now, Nene was an original cast member, as we all know. Before leaving after season 7, she appeared as a guest in season 8 and returned full-time for seasons 10 through 12. It's interesting that she was actually a guest because I never looked at her as a guest on the show. I looked at her, she took a break, came back, and then just didn't have a whole lot of lines. Didn't even think of her as a friend or a guest, as they put it. Now, the next up, we have Akilah Coleman. She is rumored to be joining. Akilah Coleman was rumored to be joining the cast of RHOA for season 16, but was not included in the announcement cast list. So she is married to NFL player Tevin Coleman, who last played for the San Francisco 49ers in the 2022 season. So I guess that is still open, and we will see how that comes about. So yeah, so that's what we're looking at as far as those who are rumored to join, those who are definitely about to join, and those who are not coming back at all. And so that was a nice little recap for us who didn't know or wasn't familiar for how this layout was going to occur. But it just seems like it's a whole lot of just, mishigosh going on that show right now. And so, who knows what the players are going to be, but we'll see. We shall see. So I think now we are going to be moving on to, yes, a little bit of a quiet storm, which I always love. Miss Cynthia Bailey herself, who, by the way, is doing really well for herself. I mean, she's got all kinds of shows and movies, and she's just doing a thing. And I'm happy for her. Really, I am. Now, according to AOL.com and Us Weekly, it appears that the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Cynthia Bailey, reacts to Kenya Moore's exit, and she simply says, "I am heartbroken." Now, Kenya Moore may be gone with the wind, but she won't be forgotten. Now, the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Cynthia Bailey, said she is heartbroken over Kenya's early exit during filming of season 16. Kenya, 53, was suspended, of course, as we know, in June after she allegedly shared explicit photos of a new castmate, Brittany. A source later told Us Weekly that Kenya will not appear on the new season due to air sometime in 2025. Now, "I am always here for Kenya. I'm always here for her," Cynthia, 57, told Extra in an interview published on Wednesday, August 28th. "Of course, I'm so saddened and heartbroken that she had an early departure from the season. No one ever saw that coming." Now, Kenya expulsion from RHOA season 16 came after, again, she allegedly shared those photos at her spa event on June 6th. She addressed her exit, as we all know, on Instagram sometime here in the summer. And she is really felt that her heart was conscious. Her conscience was clean. Her heart was opened, I guess, and the claims were false, right? And we were going to see things as what they would be later on, all in a nutshell. So Cynthia kept mum about what had happened at the Kenya Moore hair spa opening, telling Extra that fans will have to see how it all plays out. She says, "I can't really speak on it, but I will say that Kenya has always been a huge part of the show. There's only one twirl. There's only one shade assassin," she said. "I will always love or have love for Kenya. There's only one Kenya, only one." Now, following Kenya's departure, RHOA producers brought former castmate Phaedra Parks back into the fold. They started having those conversations back in July, and we already know about that. She basically says that Phaedra is great TV as well. "Phaedra came back literally in the last moment of us filming," Cynthia said. "Phaedra and I actually started Housewives together on season 3, Cynthia added. "One thing about Phaedra, as you saw on Traitors, she always going to bring you good TV. So it was fun to have her back. And just throw it in the pot and see what basically happens," right? Now, Cynthia returns to RHOA as a friend on season 16 and confirms that filming has concluded. She was previously a full-time housewife, as we all know, from seasons 3 to 13, and she appeared as a guest on season 15. Which, of course, I just really missed her on there. I just missed her levity and just really her, normalcy. Now, the season 16 cast features Brittany and Phaedra alongside Portia, Williams, Drew Sidor, Shamia Morton, Mahogany, Kelly Farrell, and Angela Oakley, who we've already kind of went through that list already in the previous sharing. Now, speaking exclusively to Us Weekly in June, Cynthia teased the dynamic between the new cast. She says, "We're on week number 3, and already these girls are jumping right in, getting their hands dirty," Cynthia told us. "I think you guys are in for a treat. I think 3 of them bring just the right amount of new blood that we needed for season Sweet 16. She continues. "So it's going to be sweet and maybe bittersweet, but I think you guys will be entertained." And I'll be interested to see that, because I'm kind of feeling like with all this stuff going on and the dark cloud that's been placed upon the season itself, I don't think it's going to be such a sweet 16. But we'll see, I guess. We'll just have to see. Hopefully I will be wrong. I'm going to be here for it either way. But again, I don't know. I'm just feeling a little bit jaded in that thought process. I guess we'll just have to see, right? So with all of this now culminating is now we're getting to everything that has taken place. We're all now caught up from the rooted to the almost to Tuda. And that's where we're going to bring into what? Kenya Moore's confessions. Right. So apparently all of that conversation had before, I guess, may have been information that's not going to come into play now. So let's go ahead and go right into current times. So apparently, according to, everyone around the world, but right now we're just going to take the sharing from Deadline. And if you saw Tamara Hall's show in person, you would have seen this as well. Now, me personally, I think I am going to actually take a look at the clip of that interview, because I would love to hear it in her own words for my own ears as well. Now, according to Deadline, RHOA's Kenya Moore regrets exposing explicit photos of co-star that led to her exit. She says, I am sorry for what I have done. I didn't have to take it that far. Say what, say who, say huh? Okay, let's get into it. Kenya Moore is opening up about the reactions that led to her exit from Bravo's The Real Housewives of Atlanta. The reality TV personality and entrepreneur was one of 2 RHOA stars to survive the cast shakeup for season 16. However, her time on the show was short-lived after she hosted an event where she exposed SULE explicit images of her new co-star, Brittany Eady. Now, in an interview on the Tamron Hall show, Moore revealed what led her to the decision to leak those pictures during the show's filming. Moore told Hall that when new cast members join the show, there's a tendency to come on and try to make a name for themselves. And things took like a really dark turn toward me, adding, there was a young lady that was new and she just was poking the bear. Now, the former Miss USA reminded everyone that her catchphrase is, don't come for me unless I what? Send for you. Noting that she doesn't start any drama, but only responds to attacks from her co-star. Now, Moore said that during a taping of the show, the young lady escalated to the point of tearing off mics, screaming all kinds of obscenities at me and threatening me. Following the incident, Moore said there were threats in my direction and I felt very concerned. She told producers that she was scared and that they told her they would take care of it. However, Moore didn't feel like the show's producers were taking care of the situation, adding they actually made me feel like I was being a Black Karen. I don't take threats or the way that I felt. You can't invalidate my feelings, Moore said. It was a real concern for me. I'm a single mom with a beautiful child that if anything happened to me, no one would be there for her. Moore continued, I didn't feel like I was being protected and I took matters into my own hands. I did my research on her. I found a lot of information, especially in the explicit world, with a few clicks with people helping me. I didn't get things sent to me, photos or videos that I did see that were allegedly her. After Moore claims to have found these images online, she exposes them during the show's filming, believing that producers will blur the photos out of the final cut. Now, Moore seemed regretful for her actions after Hall pointed out that she was surprised by the level of aggression in this. If I could do it all over again, I believe the photos were very distasteful and I elevated the situation, she said. I'm taking full accountability for the thing that I've done. I am sorry for what I've done. I didn't have to take it that far. But when I felt threatened, I never had a child and been in a situation like this before. So that's why I escalated it to the point where I was protecting not only myself, but my child. Hall read a statement from Bravo in which the network said, we take all allegations of violation of our policy seriously, reviewed the matter, and took appropriate action. Moore alleges that she was not fired from Bravo and told Hall that she's had some conversations about possibly returning to RHOA in the future, noting that she maintains a close relationship with executive producer Andy Cohen. You know who has been such a great support system for me during all this? Well, Andy Cohen, she said. He has called, he has checked in on me, he has given me advice, and I feel like he's a really good friend and I just appreciate his support. Moore said that she is still under contract with the network and said that she could potentially pop up at the RHOA season 16 reunion. I think it's important to have my point of view because I haven't done interviews. I haven't had my say, she said. It's unfortunate because I started off as a housewife, longest running on the series, and now I don't have a voice, and that's really hard. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily true. The longest wouldn't that be Kandi? As far as a Mr. Collectively, I'm not really sure. You let me know if I'm incorrect on that. But yeah, so there you have it. She's taken, I guess, responsibility and accountability for actually doing the actions in which people already saw that was done. She's basically saying, look, I felt threatened. I'm a single mother. I have a child. I've never been threatened like this. I've never felt this way. If something happens to me, who's going to be there for her? This is what she's sharing in Tamron Hall's interview. You know, she basically then also reiterates, look, I took things too far. I escalated it higher than it needed to be. But apparently whatever was being said and whatever was being, thrown out as accusations and all that kind of stuff in her direction, she felt that she needed to up the ante, as they would say. Now, I didn't hear about all the aspects of the situation of throwing mics and all that kind of stuff. So the question now at this point is, will, RHOA decide to actually air at least some, if not the items entirely, obviously blurring out the explicit pictures for us to see for ourselves. And then at that point, if we're able to get an idea from what we see from ourselves, are they then going to bring Kenya back to explain herself or give her the ability to share what she has to say? Because I'm pretty sure we're going to get to hear Brittany Edie's side and everybody else's conversation about it, probably throughout the entire season, if in fact they choose not to cut that element out, because it's going to be kind of hard if they continue to keep filming and now wrapped up filming. I believe these conversations were being had all the way. And then of course the reunion is probably going to be one to watch, I would say. Am I surprised that she's in a position where she might be in conversations and talks about coming back in the future? I am not. I mean, Portia actually was removed for one season because of the altercation that ensued between her and Kenya at one of the reunion shows. A lot of people were upset with Portia about the fact that she felt that she lost her cool and things got physical and it shouldn't have gotten that far. But she was gone for one season, came back, and then at some point they were able to start repairing their relationship. I mean, it was always kind of one of those things, right? But they did get to a place where they could film together, and they both, I think, had a mutual respect for what they brought to the show, irregardless if they were going to be the best of friends or not. So I guess time will tell. And as far as how this is all going to ensue for both the ladies, in this, whether Brittany will come back for more seasons in the future, if she will even actually be a true peach holder, and if Kenya will, come back, because of course, if she does come back and Brittany stays on the show, there's going to be that, rubber meets the road moment as well that's going to have to be considered. So I guess we will just have to see. But I most certainly would love to know your thoughts. So definitely make sure you're leaving those respectfully down below in the comment section. Let me know what you feel about this whole situation to begin with. Do you think that, Kenya's apology and what she shared this past Friday, or I think it was on Friday, or this past, week anyways, on the Tamara Hall show, do you think that suffices for real accountability in the actions that she took? Do you think she needs to go a little further? Do you think that she should be able to continue on the show? Do you think that, the apology is enough? Or do you think that at the end of the day, what she did wasn't correct? Two wrongs don't make a right. Irregardless, she went too far and she should not be rewarded with the opportunity to come back to the show now or even in the future. I would love to know your thoughts. So definitely leave them down respectfully, knowing that there's going to be people on both sides of this situation. And there may have been situations where you felt a certain way, and then when you heard what Tamara Hall's interview had to provide to us, you may now decide to turn your decision a different direction, or maybe it could have made you entrenched in whatever you already felt. So I would love to know all of that down below. So definitely leave that down below, and let's have a conversation about it. I love being in community with you. So that being said, thank you so much for being here. I told you it'd be a meaty one, so I hope that you did enjoy and did get an opportunity to get as much information as you needed in regards to what was going on, if you're watching and paying attention to, and is a good refresher for those who may have already been aware and familiar, but wanted to see what the latest was as well. So with that being said, thank you again for being here. If you are new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and be part of the family. I would so love to have you, and of course I appreciate all of your viewing and listening support. It truly does mean so much to me. I thank you so much. We are growing our family here, and I'm very excited about that. I'm so excited about growth in the community, because it just gives us more opportunity to get together, hang out, and talk about all these crazy things going on, sometimes an escape for the real crazy that's going on. So with that, thank you so much again. Please go ahead and give the video a like as well. I would so appreciate that. And definitely make sure you have your all notification bells on. If you do not already, make sure you have them all turned to all, because I'll be dropping many more videos on the platform naturally. And I'm probably going to be dropping another video today later on, and I definitely want to know your thoughts on that. And you may know what's going to be the conversation, because it is something that broke this weekend also. And I have actually reported on them before. So definitely I want to make sure that you come back for that and let me know your thoughts, because, oh my goodness, talk about the whirlwind of a year. But that being said, again, thank you so much for being here. I bid you adieu on this video, because I think that wraps it up for this entrenching video as it is. But thank you again, and take care and be blessed and stay safe, and until next time, bye.